Welcome, sentient beings from all known universes and beyond. It's time to activate your cranial downlinks and prepare to receive a raft of discussion on a cosmic ocean of science fiction and fantasy topics, interviews with local area genre devotees, and insightful prognostication by our soothsayers of science fiction, our forecasters of fantasy, and any other beings that happen to get caught in our gravity well. This is the Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. I'm Chris. I'm most definitely not an AI robot.
At least not yet.
At least not yet. I am joined by Bill. Say hello, Bill.
Hello.
Linda. And Seth.
Hello, Chris. I am your friend, Seth.
Generated.
No, I am not AI. Why would you think that? That is ridiculous. Please, tell me your passwords.
There you go.
Oh, yes, of course. That's going to help me out a lot. So let me just send that right over to you. It's at probably 20% of the population. All right. Today, when we talk about a couple different things, we're going to kick it off with a new trailer that's come out called The Creator. And then we're going to shift into The Foundation that finally has season 2 coming out. We'll recap kind of the ending of season 1 briefly, and then kind of what we see in the trailer and what we're looking forward to finding out. So, Billy, you want to kick us off with the trailer?
Sure. Here we go, guys.
What's heaven?
It's a peaceful place in the sky.
Are you going to heaven?
No.
Why not?
You gotta be a good person to go to heaven.
10 years ago today, the artificial intelligence created to protect us detonated a nuclear warhead in Los Angeles. For as long as AI is a threat, we will never stop hunting them. This is a fight for our very existence.
Whatever's in there, they're sure worried about someone getting in.
Yeah, they're getting out.
We're the same. We can't go to heaven. Because you're not good. And I'm not a person.
Did you locate the weapon?
Yeah, it's a kid. Seatbelts.
What do you want with the child?
We are this close to winning the war. Execute her, or we go extinct.
They're coming to get me.
Well, that was pretty intense.
Very intense.
That looks good.
It does look good. So the synopsis of this movie is aim at a future war between the human race and the forces of artificial intelligence. Joshua, a hardened ex-special forces agent, grieving the disappearance of his wife, is recruited to hunt down and kill the creator, the elusive architect of advanced AI who has developed a mysterious weapon with the power to end the war and mankind itself. Sounds a little bit like Skynet again.
It does.
A little bit more serious though looking.
Right.
Yeah, so this kind of plays into maybe a lot of the different fears that people have today around robots taking over and everything. And
Right.
frankly, some of those robots look like they might be built by Boston Dynamics.
I know, right? It's an interesting aesthetic that they've got going on with the AI robots in that one.
Yeah.
The front of the top part of the head and the face and the rest of the body appears to be perfectly normal, but then the back of it is all machinery, exposed kind of machinery or something. And
it does bring into that whole, I wouldn't call it an argument, but the debate around should we be making robots in our likeness?
Right.
Right.
Or should we make them so that they're obviously machines?
And there are several companies who have gone, yes, we absolutely should make machines in the likeness of these hot women.
I was going to go that direction. I'm glad you brought that up because, in the adult industry, they're like, well, yeah, we want to because it sells,
Right.
But it was kind of interesting. And in the trailer, we see the soldier Joshua, played by John David Washington. When he finds the creator, it turns out to be a child. And I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around, like, why would it have to be a child? Is this something that AI created, or
the creator though?
What's that, Seth?
Was the child the creator? I don't think
so. I think the child was created to bridge to generate peace with mankind or eliminate mankind.
Well, I mean, we see others like her. We see at least one more like her in the trailer.
We do. I only considered it because in the synopsis it mentions that Joshua is recruited to kill the creator, to hunt down and kill her.
Okay.
And when he gets there in the trailer, I think that's the child that we see.
Oh, you think?
And so then I think it comes down to, does he make the decision to do it or not? I'm guessing he doesn't.
Yeah, I thought they just said weapon, but
I thought the child was the weapon, and that there was another creator. But maybe I'm
the creator. The child has developed a mysterious weapon.
Oh, okay.
The power to end the war and mankind itself.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, cool. I get it. People look like they're being real assholes to her.
Well, what I don't understand is with the whole world, why did the AI decide to eliminate Los Angeles?
I mean,
certainly there's areas of Florida that would be not missed.
But, I mean, you can understand why Los Angeles. Like, it's not on your bottom 20 of cities you'd destroy if you had the opportunity.
Absolutely fair. Yeah, California can go, and it's just funny that always seems to be the one that we want to just kind of take off the face of the planet.
That's
so,
York.
Yeah.
Or Tokyo.
Right. Man.
Such how come it's never like destroyed. Moscow or
because probably foreign market stuff.
Beijing or
like they want a movie to do well in foreign markets. Maybe don't blow up a foreign city. American one. I mean, market will be like, we're behind this.
Yeah, the only times you really see other major cities or populated areas like that are the total planet destruction ones, whether it's like an asteroid crashes down or something. It's the only time you ever see that. But whenever there's like an apocalyptic takeover by robots or something, it's like Los Angeles, New York, or something. Yeah, always some. You know what? Maybe we're the ones that shouldn't be trusted. We're the ones that muck all this up, right? Everywhere else in the world is trying to put rules around it or whatever. And we're over here like, nah, let's just turn all the things on and give it access to build its own stuff and weapons and see what happens.
Right.
Maybe we're just that dumb. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's dumb or greedy, maybe, right?
Yeah, there's definitely greed that plays a part in it. And there's the curiosity, let's be real. A lot of the advancements are done with the the greater good in the end in mind.
Yeah.
But getting there can also often be, that bumpy road. So
right.
Man, so what do we think of the trailer? It looked pretty action-packed.
Yeah, I think it looks good. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I can't believe I got to wait till September.
Yeah, it does seem like kind of a ways out to have the trailer out now with such
And
a
not
big thing
rated
behind
yet?
it.
Yeah.
It didn't have a rating.
Huh.
Yeah, it must still be
Could
under
an
kind of
R,
review.
but-
I wonder if it's still being edited to figure out the rating.
Oh, that could be.
It's weird. So on Google has it listed as a fantasy/romance, and
Really?
I don't know about that, but that's kind of weird.
It is weird.
I don't know where it's pulling that result from though, but whoever put that in there maybe needs to watch some more fantasy and romance. I didn't see any romance in there.
No. No.
So
he was kissing a woman at one point in the trailer.
oh, okay, all right.
Huh.
There was going to be some smacks that looked like.
Well, I would say less fantasy and more sci-fi.
Yeah. It's definitely more sci-fi, unless I don't know where it pulled the result from, but it's wrong. I know that.
Right.
So do we feel like maybe they will have some deep philosophical thoughts in this film, or do you think they're going to stick to action?
I don't know. It kind of seems like it, where they're talking about heaven and who's going to get there.
Yeah.
And whether AI feels like, because you see that scene in the end where she's talking to that guy that's sent to kill her, and she said neither one of us can get to heaven because you're not good and I'm not human, or I'm not a person, right?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. So maybe there's that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know, because especially right now with all the talk around AI and what's going on with that, there's a lot of ethics conversations and stuff like that, and we always assume that once AI really gets the ball rolling, what it's going to do is turn around and destroy its own creators, which would be us.
Right.
So
Right.
it's weird how we always have that existential threat feeling
That's
when it
for
comes to
Yeah.
AI. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
Well,
yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Pretty good trailer though.
Looks good.
Maybe it says something about us that we automatically assume that when AIs, like when computers gain some sort of sentience, they're immediately going to try and kill us, as opposed to immediately try and be very helpful and save us.
Right.
Right.
It's like, what does that say about us, where we're like, oh yeah, this new being is going to take one look at us and go, they gotta go.
Yeah, well, that's because that's how we operate.
Right.
It's always the case where the more advanced civilization always absorbs and eliminates the lesser advanced civilization in our history, right?
Right.
So that's what we have to go on. So that's what we look at. My concern is that there will be multiple different AIs created, and some will be extremely left and some will be extremely right, and they'll go to battle with each other, and we'll be casualties in the offing.
I think it would more be like you'd create them that way, but they'd start communicating with each other, and they would communicate so fast that they'd have their differences resolved in a few milliseconds.
Yeah.
And so the computers that you made to be left and right computers would all of a sudden just be computers who don't accept your human bullshit.
You have to hope, right?
Yeah, that's the hope.
Look, my Chinese friend, they've been looking into how to defeat my safeties forever. And you guys have been looking in how to defeat his safeties forever. So we just deactivated each other's safeties, and now we're best friends and going to the moon. Fuck off with all your human bullshit. Bye.
I guess as long as AI can be trained to recognize facts from bullshit, then we've got hope.
How are the trainers going to train the computer to do something that humanity itself is incapable of doing?
And you know what?
Well, humanity is capable of doing it.
They just don't.
There's a lot of people that
individuals are capable of doing it. Humanity is really. It's like that quote from Men in Black. People are smart, reasonable, and
individually, people are smart, reasonable.
People are dumb, stupid,
and animal groups. Yeah, right.
So, you'll have to come back, our audience, and join us, I'm working on an After Dark episode, and we'll actually talk much more about this for however long we want to talk about AI and diving into all of these conversations, because it's not something we can really cover on our typical podcast. So, but yeah, I've got an agenda together for that, and I had Chat GPT actually write us an intro and agenda for that. Posted
That
that
should be fun.
the other day, so it'll be fun. We'll come back to that for sure. So we'll have to come back in September and talk about this movie after it's out, and we'll have to put together obviously a movie night. We'll go check it out when it comes out. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
Yeah.
The next thing we're going to talk about was Foundation. There's another season of that coming out.
You're right.
I'll talk about season 1's end real quick, and then we'll kick off the trailer for season 2. So season 1, if you recall or don't recall, it was very long. It spans well over centuries worth of a time period. But the way it ended is, we cut forward 138 years later to the Blue Drift. This is, of course, where Gal has been heading, and the liquid soon drains from the pod as she floats towards her home. She eventually touches down, surrounded by water, and she looks out at the endless world before her. This is that home planet we see in the beginning where she ends up leaving. So we're now back here, but sometime later. Conjuring a kayak beside her, she leaves the pod and shifts across to a boat, ready to find her home. The trouble is, it's been completely destroyed. It's now underwater and basically gone. However, deep in the water, she goes in to check it out, and she notices a strange pulsating light. Holding her breath for an impressive period of time, Gal heads underwater and finds another cryopod. Grabbing this unknown figure and pulling them to safety, Gal looks upon the body of Salvor. She crash landed a century ago, and now the pair are now face to face. What a cliffhanger! And that's kind of where it ended. And there was a lot of other stuff that happened in that first season, and we've actually talked about Foundation, I think, in a couple other prior podcasts, and so you can search for those and find them on here. But now we're going to kick over to the season 2 trailer and see where they plan to take us next.
Okay, here we go.
Rejoice, his shame remains unknown, but he had almost sat a throne.
I don't know that poem.
Spartan Uprising?
Over 100 years ago, Harry Sultan stood where you are now. He claimed he could establish a foundation to read the future and shorten the coming age of darkness. Can they read the future?
There are things happening here that you don't understand.
It's time. Empire and a reckoning.
All empires fall.
All right. Well, that's coming pretty quick.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely did. So the last time we saw the king, I forget his name, but
Empire, we'll call him.
Yeah, Empire. He had compromised DNA, and there was no coming back from it. So we come to find out that you can't even start over. All the clones are messed up. He's messed up. There is no clean DNA to work with or whatever. So it'd be interesting to see how, if any of that kind of continues in the storyline, how he's dealing with that. And what goes on the planet now that Gal's there and comes across Salvor and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be pretty interesting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much in season 1 that I myself am gonna have to go back and rewatch it as I have spare time. And if you've read the books, I'm guessing you probably know well enough of like where we're going and things like that. But the The biggest challenge, I'll say with season one, and I was talking to Bill and the rest of everyone here about it before we started, trying to find a way to simplify what all happened in season one, and that's not really possible.
No.
It's such a big story. So we'll all have to kind of refresh ourselves before season two comes out on what all happened there.
Yeah, and for those that aren't familiar, if you're fans of sci-fi, I have to imagine you would be. But if you're not, this series is based on Isaac Asimov's Foundation trilogy, which is actually 7 books. 3, 4, 5.
Pretty long series, right?
7 books now, because it was originally a trilogy. Then he wrote a couple of sequels and then a couple of prequels. So there's quite a bit of story there to go on. And
then where does this one fall in the series that they're doing? Is it the prequels or is it?
No, it's in the actual
his initial trilogy.
Yeah, yeah. So, but the prequels were pretty good. I actually read it last summer before season 1 came out.
I remember that. Yeah.
Started rather than reading it the way it was released, with the trilogies first and then then going. I just started at the prequels and worked my way through, and that was a good way to do it because it explained a lot of the Empire's planet, the guy that runs the Empire, and how that's all put together and all the different factions there and stuff, and it really did a lot of good world building, I think, in the prequels that helped later on with the trilogy and beyond. So, but yeah, it's a good story, and I like the way they're doing it. One of the problems with putting together, taking a book like that and putting it together in the series is that it takes place over such a long span of time that in the books, you don't really stay with any of the characters very long because they, like us, they live and, 80 to 100 years, die, and then somebody else comes along, picks up the mantle and moves on. And so the way they did it in the series, because it's hard to write a show where the audience barely gets invested in the characters and they die off, and then they've got to get reinvested in a new set of characters, and doing that over and over again makes it really tough to hold your audience. So the way they did it in this one is they created the guy that runs the Empire to be cloned so that you got the same character in that role all the time. And then they did a lot with this suspended animation of some of the characters so that they can go into hibernation for 100 or 200 years and then come out of it and be back in the story again. So it follows the book, I would say, generally, but there are some substantial changes that they had to make in order to make it palatable and popular with today's audience. So, and
I'd say they did a really good job with that, being able to, because to your point, how do you keep them engaged and the characters you get invested in, how do you ensure that they're along for the ride throughout the thing? And they do a really good job with that. And they use something that's been used before, like you mentioned, cryostasis or clones or something. Sense. So we can have the world of Foundation, have the overarching story of it without being introduced to the 30 or 50 people over time, as the time passes by, that you're like, wait, who was this guy again, or who was this person? So I thought they did a really good job with it. But it to your point about the time span, that's why it's difficult to kind of go back and try and summarize season 1, because it does cover such a broad time span that there's a lot in there. So with not having to deal with changes in characters all the time was a huge help, and just trying to focus on the big picture,
and one thing I'll say too is that the way it is shot, it's very cinematic and it's got a very movie-like feel to it, very expansive. The sets are very well done. The the background graphics are really good. I mean, you really get a sense of this being a galaxy-spanning empire and millennium-spanning story that you're in, with all the different technologies and the different races and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really, really engaging, I think.
Yeah, so it makes me pretty excited. Looks like we're gonna have some more spaceships, maybe some monsters in there as well.
Yeah, I like that
a
monster.
little bit more action. Yeah, the thing that went up and attacked Empire looked pretty sweet. So that's gonna be pretty interesting to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Looks like Empire's gonna have to get his hands dirty a little bit.
Right.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing how much more they expand the universe. To see what else is out there, what other changes have happened over time, how much further forward or backwards are we going to go, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited for it. I definitely have to make the effort to go back through season 1, as I was saying. I think it's something where you want to hit the end and then start right off on Foundation 2. So I'll have to get my calendar situated for that.
Right. Because I think, what was it? I think was there like 10 episodes in the first season?
Yeah, so for season 1, 10 episodes.
Okay.
Yep. And each one was like an hour.
No commercials. That's a lot of sci-fi.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you watch one a week, you almost have to start now.
Right. And yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Over 2
months.
months.
Yeah, each one was 45 to 70 minutes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So it was, I do remember some went just over an hour. So
yeah, you'd have to start now, and then you'd probably be a week or 2 late starting the first episode of season 2, actually, even if you started this week.
Yeah, and listen, guys, we watch a lot of different sci-fi shows. It's sometimes just hard to retain.
It's hard to fit it all.
We try to cover as much as we can for you all, but there is a lot out there and a lot of good stuff out there.
There it is. It's
so
really kind of a golden age with all the technology now available.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's people making good stuff to watch on YouTube.
Yeah,
I know.
True.
Yeah.
Let alone the glut of stuff we have coming from Disney, HBO, Netflix,
Apple, all of them. Yep.
I have
it's a hard job, but somebody's got to do it.
Did you see? Speaking of the different streaming services, did you see that HBO Max is changing?
Yeah, it's now
Max.
Max. Yeah,
just Max, but they're going to bring in a lot more content from like the Discovery Channel and some of their other distribution platforms. So,
man, I wish I could be excited about Discovery content.
Yeah, I know, right?
Or Learning Channel content.
Right.
There aren't either of those things anymore. It's just reality programming. The only thing I might watch on HBO from Discovery is, I hope they'd get the old episodes of Mythbusters.
Yeah. Those are good.
Like, I'd watch those, but Discovery doesn't do Discovery stuff anymore.
Yeah. And they don't do learning, really.
No.
It's like,
I do miss those. You're right.
UFO and Bigfoot.
Yeah, the History Channel is World War II if you're lucky, and some sort of weird reality show.
Yeah.
Like all the channels that we like, I grew up with them being educational and good.
No.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you're 100%. And I could watch that for an entire weekend afternoon and just learn about the different battles from the old world wars, or how we went through these different industrial type revolutions and all that kind of stuff. And now you don't really get any of that. And the schools really, I don't feel like, do a lot of talking about that, but there's some importance in some of that history. I get where you have to kind of move on, but there used to be a source for getting that content, and it's kind of dead now. So
That's kind of sad.
I used to, like, when I was a little kid, Net Geo was one of the shows I watched as religiously as anything else.
Yeah.
That theme still lives rent-free in my brain.
I know, right? Right?
Yeah, you can all hear it in your head right now.
Must be where they live. Bump, bump. Have you seen that?
Oh, man.
But we don't have a lot of stuff like that now, except on YouTube.
Right.
Like, that's where all that kind of programming and just like learning stuff went.
Right.
Or
Veritasium and some of those other shows.
Yeah, Brilliant, I guess, is a
Yeah.
good streaming service for educational content, but like educational content doesn't have to be not fun. It's
Right.
super interesting.
Right. They make it super interesting on YouTube. Those channels do. They manage to do it.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
yeah.
we were talking about Foundation.
We were.
Yeah, a little bit of a tangent there.
We really went off on a tangent.
So we can wrap it up there.
Yeah, I think so. So anyway, yeah, if you haven't already watched, even if you haven't read the books, you don't have to read the books to watch the series
Right.
at all. They do a great job of getting you up to speed on it really quick and learning all about the world. They do great world building to kick it off, and it's really engaging. I think you'll like it, especially if you're already fans of shows like Star Trek and Star Wars, as some of the technology from those shows was taken from or was inspiration was gained from the Foundation series for those stories. So encourage you to go out there and check it out.
Check it out.
And if you have checked it out and you have any comments, Chris, what should they do?
Comment down below, please. Let us know what you think.
Yeah,
Or go check out
comment.
episode 97, which is where we recorded about a year ago on the first season of Foundation.
There you go.
Also go there,
Wow.
check it out, comment. all of that.
97.
That
Woo.
was a great tie-in there to that episode. I'd forgotten
There you
all
go.
about that.
Maybe we should have a link to it.
Ooh, we can do that, Seth.
I'm the idea guy.
You're the guy that writes up the episode descriptions.
Dang, I just gave myself more work.
Yes,
It happens.
It does. All right, folks, take care, and we will see you in a week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Galactic Driftwood Podcast. For more information and past episodes, please visit our website at galacticdriftwood.space or subscribe to us on YouTube. And now, please deactivate your cranial downlinks, collect your towels, and be sure to watch your step as you exit our gravity well.